Mr. Chairman, I thank you for the conversations you've had with me and being willing to work. I must say I'm really disappointed in our progress in terms of eliminating the way I calculated, if you don't count VTEC, which by a 75 vote to 23 vote on the floor of the Senate, we eliminated that. We save about $6 billion. That's a whole lot better than we've done in a lot of things, and so I congratulate you. But I think we could have done a lot better. And I'm going to have several amendments to try to do that. And I'm going to live within my commitment that I made to you last night to not extend our mark. I don't want to get a debate on this issue, but as an accountant and also someone from Oklahoma, what the senator from Massachusetts just alluded to in terms of fossil fuels is not accurate. The fact is oil and gas companies pay exactly the same amount of tax they would have paid if they had no credit. We just changed the time at which they pay it. So the only benefit for them is the time value of money, because we allow accelerated depreciation, accelerated write-off, which they would write off over a 10-year period anyway. So there's no true subsidy other than time value of money, which is right now at 1/4% on a 30-day bill. So there is a difference. And I'm for us using renewable fuels. I'm not against it. But I also want us to make sure we're doing that efficiently. So I would tell you I have several amendments. I appreciate you and Senator Hatch. I think it's time we did this. And as you know, I've been involved in several areas trying to get to exactly where Senator Kerry said we want to go. I was on the Bowles-Simpson. I made some tough votes on that. I was on Gang of Six. I'm still working with anybody that'll work with me in the Congress to solve our fiscal issues. But we're going to have a vote in a little bit that's going to deny us fixing over $200 million, because we're going to continue to pay for something over 10 years that we're going to spend in 3, just like we did the highway bill, which will never work. In the long run, it doesn't work. If we need to pay for it, we need to pay for it now and not later. So I thank you again for your work, and I look forward to our market.
Thank you, Senator. Any other senators wish to speak? Senator Menendez.
Mr. Chairman, very briefly, I want to thank you for advancing what I think is an important step forward as we do move towards tax reform in 2013. And this is an important package for both families and businesses in my home state of New Jersey, and I am particularly pleased to see an extension of the alternative minimum tax relief, a critical issue for over 1.5 million New Jersey families. And in the bipartisan spirit of this markup, I am pleased to be working with Senator Hatch to seek to extend that relief for another year to give these families some certainty as we move into tax reform. And I'm hoping as we move there to that direction that we will look for, instead of a piecemeal approach to AMT, to see a relief that is more permanent in nature, and I think there's a broad bipartisan support for that effort. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I have other issues, but I'll look forward to the markup, and thank you for moving forward.
All right. Okay. Let's now turn to the bill. I announced the bill earlier this week, and we're at some point we're going to walk through the modifications to the mark, and obviously senators can ask any questions they might. Then we'll consider amendments to the mark and vote on whether to report the mark. And we have a quorum here. I just hope we can keep our quorum so we can do our work today. The committee has before it the chairman's mark on the Family and Business Tax Cut Certainty Act of 2012, and my modification of that mark. The mark is so modified, the modification is deemed incorporated into the chairman's mark. The bill extends a number of tax provisions that expired in 2011 and provisions that expired in 2012. There have since been some modifications to this bill since we released the mark Tuesday night. Tom Barthold from the Joint Committee on Tax will describe the modifications to the mark, and after the description, then I urge senators to ask any questions they may have. There are also very talented staff at the table who can answer other questions. Ryan Abraham from my staff, Mr. Lyons,